very easy to set up remote access links in KeyReporter for Windows, Mac, and Linux computers, but every environment is unique and there are many options to consider. So in this video, we'll walk you through a few different configuration possibilities. Before implementing any of these features, we strongly recommend updating to KeyServer version 7.6.08. A number of new options have recently been added, and if you're on an earlier version, some things will look a lot different than what you see here. You don't necessarily need to update the key access client on all your network computers to implement these features, just the key server itself, which includes the required update to the KeyReporter web interface. Now let's get started. If you already have your computers organized into divisions, and you just want to add basic RDP or VNC links to your existing maps, all you have to do is go into the Properties window for each division and select the appropriate settings in the Remote tab. You can select a different option for each platform as needed, and for RDP, you can choose to connect via computer name instead of IP address. With these options enabled, a link to download the RDP file for each computer is added to both the floor plan and the list view. Logged in as an admin, the IP address is listed. Guest users will simply see the word connect with the same icon. Note that the actual remote desktop connection is not happening through the key server. Instead, KeyServer is dynamically generating an RDP file by inserting the IP address or computer name into a customizable template at the time of download. By default, the RDP file is very basic and assumes there's no firewall blocking the connection. The template can be customized to include gateway data. We'll come back to the topic of security toward the end of this video, but first let's look at a few other options. If you don't already have maps set up, you can start fresh on the Main tab. If you've already created maps or floor plans in KeyReporter, but still want to provide users with a simple list view of computers for remote sessions, just click the plus icon for a new Maps tab. To organize your remote labs based on your KeyServer divisions, just accept the default. However, since users won't be going to specific labs or classrooms physically, you may want to organize computers into larger groups or other categories. Why force users to look at a list of 20 labs if all the computers are basically the same? This option allows you to organize computers into tag-based groups, which are maintained independently of divisions. If you're creating valued tag-based computer groups, you'll have to add a new tab, as the Main tab only lists divisions. Also, to use this option, you'll first need to add the necessary tags to the computers in KeyConfigure, so let's do that before reviewing this option. There are a couple of different ways to add tags to computer records in KeyConfigure, but the easiest way is to use the Add Tags JavaScript from the Manage Scripts window. To install it, just head to File, Manage Scripts, and drag the Add Tags script from the script library at the bottom up to the On Server for All Admins section at the top. You may as well add the Remove Tags script as well. If you're curious about what the other scripts are for, just search for scripts in the search bar at the top of sassafras.com. Now, to use the new script, all you have to do is select a group of computers, right-click, and select the Add Tags option. A valued tag, as you might have guessed, is a tag that holds a value. The tag itself comes first, and it is separated from the value by a colon. You can think of the tag as the name of the map. We'll call this one Virtual Labs, and the value as the name of the computer group, similar to a division. We'll call this one Computer List 1. Because you're not building these groups around geographic locations, you're free to consider other categories, such as Mac versus Windows, or general use versus those that contain specialty software. Using the same tag prefix, create a new value for each computer group you want listed on the new Maps tab in KeyReporter. We'll talk about embedding and authentication in a minute, but for now, consider the fact that you're in control of exactly how KeyReporter pages will be presented and who will have access to them. So, for example, if you wanted to create one computer group that includes all available machines, you can embed or give users direct access to a single list of all computers. Every environment is different, so if you have any questions about configuration, feel free to contact us at 603-643-3351 or at support@sassafras.com. Now that we've created the value tags, we can select the value tag option when creating our new tab in KeyReporter. We're given a list of all the tags in our computers window, but keep in mind that unless we select a valued tag, no computer groups will be listed when we save and create our new tab. Give this page a name, likely matching the tag, and note the setting that makes this tab visible to guest users. Now that we've created a new tag-based Maps tab, let's add our new computer groups to the page and select RDP and VNC options as needed. That completes the initial configuration. Now we'll talk about providing access to end users. There are a number of options to consider, from public access to KeyReporter, to VPN, AD integration, to embedding only the needed pages or tabs into another site altogether. We'll start with embedding. Rather than giving end users direct access to KeyReporter, whether authenticated or not, some admins prefer to embed the Maps page or even the individual computer group pages into other websites. The great thing about embedding KeyReporter is that any page or object can be embedded at any level. Most people embed the Maps page itself, but if you grouped all of your computers into one page using valued tags, you might as well skip this page and embed the list of computers directly. Some admins are embedding individual lab and classroom computer pages into class-specific pages controlled by the professor. When embedding, simple modifications can be made to the URL to customize the view. For example, adding frame-core before the word maps in the URL allows you to embed only the main body of the page without navigation, and adding a question mark, stat equals free, to the end will completely hide computers that are in use instead of displaying them with the red icon. We made the Maps page visible to guest users earlier, but don't forget that you also have to make the individual computer groups visible by checking the box in the page preferences or back on the Map tab here. Great. Our computer groups have now been defined, our new Maps tab has been created, and everything has been made visible to guest users. As long as guests can access the page over the internet by opening the firewall over VPN or by embedding, you're all set. But what if you don't want the general public to be able to access this information and instead want to restrict access to users authenticated through Active Directory? This is fairly simple to do, but it requires us to head back to Key Configure to log in using an account with administrator privileges. Just head to the Admin Access window in the Window menu. We'll make two changes here. Since the goal is to create an account that has the same access as the KeyReporter guest, but hides even these features behind password protection, first we need to disable the guest account, and then we need to create a new guest account clone that requires authentication against AD. First, just open the KeyReporter guest account and uncheck the box here to disable it. Save and exit. In 7608 and up, this will also remove the guest button from the KeyReporter login screen. Next, right-click in the Admin Access window and select New External Account. Be sure to select the External Account option or AD authentication won't work. Name this account something appropriate for your user group, keeping in mind that they'll see this account name in the top right corner whenever they log in to KeyReporter. I'm going to call this new account Student, for example. Next, just drag the public role and the viewers group into the Roles and Groups pane of the new account. This will give the new account the exact same permissions as the original guest account, while also requiring authentication. If you'd like to add or remove permissions, you can right-click and duplicate the public role, give the copy any name you want, and then modify the permissions as needed. Make sure to test any changes before providing access to end users. For the next step, we need to link this new account to AD so that users unrecognized by KeyServer who provide valid AD credentials will be logged in as this new guest account. In the Config menu, select Admin Authentication. Pick Active Directory from the dropdown, and as long as AD is hosted on the same domain as the KeyServer, you should be able to ignore all of the details and other settings. If you already have AD authentication turned on for KeyServer administrator accounts, what we're doing will have no effect on those. Just come down to the bottom of the window and select the new account we created under Unknown External Logins, and we're done. This simply tells KeyServer that any unrecognized but properly authenticated AD users should be logged in as this account, which is essentially a clone of the original disabled KeyReporter guest account. To test, simply log into KeyReporter using AD credentials not previously given access to the system. That's it. Finally, returning to a topic I mentioned at the beginning, how do you customize the very basic RDP file to account for a gateway if end users aren't using a VPN to connect, or manage other security concerns related to KeyReporter? Unfortunately, network security is outside of the scope of this video, but I want to share 2 links that may be helpful. The first is to a blog post called KeyReporter Security Considerations, which can be found at www.sassafras.com/kr-security. The other link is to a recent post created to discuss the same RDP links we covered in this video with a few additional details. That one can be found at www.sassafras.com/RDP-settings. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, reach out to us at 603-643-3351 or email support@sassafras.com.